I would also like to formally welcome everybody. I kept seeing everybody's chats till about 11 p.m. last night. And then I was like, this is too old for me. I'm too old for this. But clearly, this panel is not of timid hearted people. We should get into it. We should immediately get into the conversation. I do believe that people are already looking and hearing us from the prompts that I received. The timid-hearted, the Indian entrepreneurship or the startup story, not for the timid-hearted. And we had a little bit of a conversation among ourselves for this. The timid-hearted word means that if you're not that, you're at least lion-hearted. Now, how many of you in the panels agree that the current startup mindset truly has to be that of the lion-hearted or the iron-willed? Do all of you agree? Or do you think
Yeah.
we're sitting on a nice cushion where it's a good time to just start our own business?
Yeah, so Noor, glad that this topic brought about. I'm excited from. Hi everyone, I am from the Odisha, from the Barbil Mines areas. I travel 10 kilometers to attend the station, and I'm really excited about it. And this Indian entrepreneurship, not for timid-hearted, especially for an investment firm. Working in investment firm is a relevant topic for me, and it starts from from the latest school days and early colleges. Our that academics millennials are not at all into that entrepreneurship or achievement. Only it starts at the later end of college or into the early careers of their professionalism. There they start. Why? Because engineering entrepreneurship and engineering this entrepreneurship is not achievement in there from the still from the beginning. They lacks in from the starting, and it's very uh, as an investment firm, we receive a lot of startups who approach us, and they only look for two things from us: yes or no. Either you are making investment, or yes, or you're not making an investment, and then they will move to the another investment guy, and they keep who approach us and tell us very clearly on a bold-hearted, how did you rejected us? What the things we are lacking here? And we at Hunch Ventures, we are very glad to receive those startups, and they talk head to head to us, give us a feedback that where we can work on it, and we take 3 weeks of time to get back to the startups and tell them that you can work on your product improvement, on your team improvement, and on your go-to-marketing strategy or overall XYZ. That's really those startups are really very exciting these days. Coming to one small example, I want to give it from my mines areas here. Pre-COVID times, none of our team members were ready to travel into semi-rural areas where there is a lack of all the facilities here. And in the COVID timing, so we received the responses from them. We want to go to those areas. We want to spend time in those areas, and that segment not only we saw IT, one of the IT sectors, they boom very well. Medical sector, they boom very well in COVID times. There are XYZ sectors, they got very badly hit or semi hit. But there are one industries which I want to point out here is the heavy engineering industry, which continuously kept rising in this COVID time. And our Indian entrepreneurship, that community is lacking behind. Though we have very good numbers of heavy industry engineers, electrical and mechanical and both on. I want to point out whoever is listening to Mr. Imam that this particular areas is COVID agnostic. They keeps on rising irrespective of you get. I agree, being an investment firm, there are huge investment required in this, but there is a very minimal chances of failure in this particular areas. You know, timid-hearted or courage-hearted or lion-hearted. I would only say one line to our young entrepreneurs, to all my fellow panelists here, is that let's be creative in heart, and let's keep a business in mind that will keep us help to keep rising and help us to develop our community entrepreneurship, develop our city, state, and develop our nation. Thank you, Noor.
I have to say, this is the first time I'm hearing COVID agnostic. I mean, I know pandemic proof and recession proof, but COVID agnostic. But if you look at the startup sector, if you go back to the Make in India time, there was a very high trust and an extreme drive from our government to really push this sector. And then we saw like many countries mushrooming. We thought we are the next China in that. China is not the talk to talk about, but still, we really thought we were headed in that direction. Our unicorns are up and coming, and then the money dried up. And not only did it dry up, many big companies started scaling down. We already are seeing today the likes of Oyo have to let go of people, they have to cut costs. So from that time, and now suddenly it's Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now then again, the drive is back. MSME has become like a magic word, a magic industry of some form. Uh, there is clearly a push, but there is clearly a problem. So the challenges. First, I just want to get a sense from almost all of you on how are you seeing the challenges vary. Let's just say 3 years back to now. How have the challenges varied? Now I'm going to open this up to the only other girl in the panel, Sunanda.
Hi.
So then give a sense, how have I love some of the examples that you gave, Sunanda, and I know that we had to come up on this later, but how have the challenges really varied from what it was to what it is now?
So, hi everyone, I'm Sunanda, and uh, I run Crazy Me, which is a graphic design and used to be a luxury bespoke company. So, I've actually had quite a few challenges with this whole COVID situation because the other thing I also do is I founded a campaign called Nahi Means Law, which was on ground and online. So, the first challenge came about, I think, COVID actually hit me a little earlier because I was working with a company that was working in Bangkok, and this was a huge wedding and event company. So COVID hit Thailand first, so that was the first challenge that business went in that direction. So I think this started from January onwards. The second challenge that really happened was I don't own a printing press of my own. I've tied up with 3 or 4 other printers, and because it's a luxury bespoke company, I have very, very high end people working for me. And what ended up happening was all the red zones now became these areas where these printers were. So we tried, we struggled, we managed, but there were delays because now instead of sending people for pickups or deliveries, they were couriering things. Or once something comes to, you must remember the amount of fear and panic that lockdown had created right at that time. So there was just so much panic at that time. The company lost a lot of business. I actually ended up shutting down the entire print part of my company because it wasn't worth the stress at that point. So that was a huge challenge. Another thing that also happened is once there was an opportunity where I could have gone online. That was for my ready-made line of cards. Once that opportunity came, which was a great one, there were delivery issues. When you're on an online platform, you need to be delivering to your customers within, I think, maximum 7 to 10 days or 10 to 14 days. But now, because of the COVID situation, no printer would have been able to send me something uh, within 7 to 10 days themselves because these are all, again, they're very specialized luxury products. So these were some of the challenges. But I do want to say at the same time, it has opened up, at least personally for me, a world of opportunity because the next thing I did was I just went, I'm a graphic designer, I'm trained in graphic design. So the company was luxury stationery, but my field is design. So I just stepped forward and I went into the digital world, which is now just, it's exponential in its growth now because there's websites to be done, there's social media to be done, digital invites to be done. Like the opportunity is like brilliant in that way. So yes, there are challenges, but as we all know, being an entrepreneur is not just about making money or sales. It's a mindset. So you have a challenge and you move with it and you adapt. So I mean,
Fair enough. Totally got your point. Totally got your point. It is a mindset. That is true. But then, Sunanda, there are real problems around this as well. I want to get Akshay Hegde in the conversation right now. Akshay is going to unmute himself now. Akshay, see, from a challenge standpoint, what Sunanda has mentioned has immediately happened to her side of business. She said printing press, and I started feeling something. All magazines started dying a day after, and then we really revived like 2 days later. So we all, went through that. However, and as she said, digital really picked up. But before I get into how much really the monetization opportunity from there picked up, Akshay, I want to get Akshay Hegde, I want to get a sense from you that other challenges, from the government, from exteriors, what else came your way that really was like, in Hindi, Sone pe Suhaga. If you understand Suhaga, what it means.
Of course. Firstly, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm Akshay. I'm the co-founder and director at Shakti. We're a B2B procurement-based marketplace, and I'm happy to be here. So basically, getting back to your question. So Sunanda mentioned quite a few good points about how she was disrupted. Her business was disrupted during the pandemic, and we faced all of it because we're basically an online internet company, right? We're trying to fulfill orders for different business supplies, industrial supplies for different corporates across India, factories. Though there was a muted response during this period because of the lockdown and people working from home, factories being shut for some time, and so on and so forth. There wasn't much. So we did see a muted demand, but at the same time, we're now seeing some sort of rebound and almost recovery to pre-COVID levels, which is a good thing. I feel like it's a good thing. Now, coming to your Atmanirbhar push, which was done by the PM, honestly, I feel like it's a great opportunity. What I've started seeing in a lot of places is there's definitely a need for India to become self-sufficient and capable in many sectors. A few sectors like electronics, mobile phone manufacturing, auto manufacturing will stand to gain from the push for attracting global supply chains to India. I think the product link incentive scheme, which the government came up with for mobile manufacturing, has been a resounding success. With a lot of top makers, including Indian players like Lava and so on, opting in for this production-linked incentive scheme. Now, what happens with such this thing? It makes us a little bit more competitive because you're like, what you would rather margins initially, you get to count it with the amount of incentive you're getting for per piece of production above a certain threshold of value, right? So it has shifted the focus away from China and other countries in the eyes of these Western and the other Baguette and such large manufacturers of mobile phones for Apple and so on. I think this was a success in a way. I've also seen a lot of tech companies which have been into tech consulting companies. They've been trying to move, and they've gotten mandates in hand for supply chains to move away from Southeast Asia and China, at least China, majorly because of the disruption arbitrage that was faced over there during this pandemic, and also because of the geopolitical issues that's is precipitating between China, India, and the US. So a few mandates are in place. I guess guys like Tech Mahindra have such mandates wherein they're trying to shift supply chains to India. So I've seen that as well. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how the policies are designed to make India's Atmanirbhar push a little more competitive, and how the implementation actually happens is going to be pretty critical for anybody to say that this has been a success, or it's just like another Make in India campaign.
I love you said that. All three of our speakers who have spoken so far have spoken about not for the timid-hearted, but immediately moved to how to pivot or how to look for that opportunity, how to look for that silver lining, which is really cool. I'm going to get Akshay Chawla now in the conversation. This was not planned, guys. This has just happened. It was not like a Akshay Square thing happening. But Akshay Chawla, I want to get a sense from you that they have not only picked out what challenges they faced, but Akshay Hegde even pointed out that there has to be some norm that has to come from policy and how things are changing, which is probably making startups more competitive, which is a good thing. Give us a sense, if I had to say today, the best time to be a startup is now. That was a statement very famous some time ago, but is there any validity to that statement today?
First of all, thank you everyone. Thank you Noor for inviting over. It's a pleasure to be here on this panel. To introduce myself, I'm Akshay Chawla. I'm the founder and managing director for ThinkXQ, which is an events and marketing solutions company. Also, I'm founder of Uncomplicated Studio, which happens to be a AV and film division and a creative studio as well. Yes, to say what I am in line to what everyone has been speaking. I think everyone, there will be no one who's not impacted by COVID or whatever the impact it has had on any of the industry in India. Maybe even in the global scenario, it would have impacted everyone. You're very right. When you say that everyone was impacted and no one was aware of how we should adapt to the situation. But when you ask me this question, if would there be a better time than this to invest and do a business in India? Of course, I would say it holds good. The story of India's transformation is just beginning to take shape, and we are poised for an exciting decade ahead. Have we already ready? That the demand's going to see an upsurge in the coming years. The necessary working parts in place. A major pointer to it is the connectivity. When you talk about connectivity between the customers, businesses, suppliers, bankers, and all other associated aspects are almost, I would say, extremely connected and streamlined. According to a report, in fact, it even stated that the first time ever there are more rural internet users than even urban internet users. Yeah? So that's the scale that we're talking about. There are about 500 million active internet users in India now, which easily spills to billion of connected people. Another strong driver is the vision of global optimism towards India. I think that's one of the biggest things. We're talking about, without naming, there are a lot of countries who are right now talking about moving businesses to India. Right? That talks about a lot of opportunity that could come forward. This in itself speaks about volumes about engaging opportunities in the country. From the industry that we belong to, if you really think, there are companies which are based out of India. There could be MNCs. They have volumes that they would be looking at, and what are the spends that they're doing. Not very sure. Maybe in this hard time, maybe the spends would go low. We've spoken to a couple of partners. We've spoken to a couple of clients. The investment that they're probably looking forward to in the coming months will be much lower. The marketing spends will go low. So I think if we see this as an opportunity, there are a lot of optimism about more and more companies coming into India. So I definitely feel that this is we should wait for the right time to come. This is the best time for us to invest into India, and for any startup to think about and take a chance to begin. So I would just say that there are a lot of stories to be told, emotions to be tapped, and profits to be made.
Yeah, I get your point. Because of our digital adoption and the way we got 400 million people, 500 million people in 4 years, we got the largest tech FDI bang in the middle of the lockdown, and it came from Facebook for Jio. Jio was got on getting the money, but then that was the reason. Everybody so far has spoken about the ups of it, right? Which is in a way a good thing. Great time to be in India, great time to start up. Let's now just look at whether it's actually making something. Now, Sunanda mentioned this to me, like she mentioned it on our conversation yesterday. I'm going to get Umesh in the conversation over here right now, and I'm going to get a sense. Umesh, everything is going digital, right? We are all living at work. I'm not going to say work from home. There is no such thing as work from home. We are working 16 hours a day. How is it home? So we are living at work. But the monetization angle of it, always digital was the low scorer. It always happened. Now we are forced to be digital. Just give me a sense of if you're actually seeing the money actually come back in the market in any format. And in fact, if this recession that's about to slap us really hard, are we really equipped to deal with this right now?
Yeah. So, hi, myself Umesh Silvan, co-founder of Social Good. Yeah, thank you. So I have a couple of points here. Like I divide the BC and AD now redefining, like before Corona and after digitization, right? That's what I can see it, right?
BC and AD.
Yeah. So now, as you mentioned, Noora, so work and life are now integrated actually. There is very thin line between work and life as of now, as of today, from last 6 months, right? And you spoke about are we able to monetize it? What this digitization is happening? I'm like, it's just a beginning here, right now. So I would give our own example actually. In fact, we have a biggest revenue generation quarter in last 2 years. I'm like really happy. Like just I took our own example as the question came in here. Are we able to monetize it? I think the platforms are there, and I'm like people are able to monetize it. There is no question on it. And I'm like another example we can take it up is like Reliance. I'm like it's day and night is shopping kind of a thing, right? It's just going out and buying vegetables kind of thing. That's kind of a money is being raised. That means this potential, whether it could be Facebook or other ventures, they are seeing the potential in that digitization. Without that potential, they would not be investing that big amount. That's what I believe, right? But coming to the other point, the Akshay Chawla and Akshay Hegde, both of them spoke about, right? We have a lot of opportunities, but I have my own doubts. Are we ready to take up those opportunities as a nation, as an entrepreneurs here, right? So I just, one more example I would give is 2-3 weeks back, I went to a Twitter timeline where a gentleman who want to set up just a small manufacturing unit in his own land applied for an NOC. You know, we don't believe, but he has to go through like 10 to 12 of different departments to just get an NOC for his land to set up his own factory, right? So in this kind of a bureaucratic and official and like paperwork, are we there really to take these opportunities? I really have this question. It's not like we are not capable of doing it, but the overall ecosystem is there, right? That has to be really changed, the mindset and the perception has to be changed. And I have one more. Yes, yeah. And I'll give one more example. Why we'll be able to? We have the capacity and we can do it. At around 85 and 90s, one HR, I could not remember his name. I read an article. The HR from Bajaj Auto, he was like really like paid off the talent what they are hiring, frankly, from the big institutes from across the India. So what the gentleman did is he went across India and went to the engineering schools and just got the talented, skilled people. He didn't look at the degrees or college names, okay? And he trained them, and that group has created the Pulsar bike out of that whole exercise. That means we have the capability, we can do it. Only thing is, we have to be an entrepreneur. That HR was not a founder or co-founder of Bajaj Auto, but he has the entrepreneurship in his blood or in his virtue, right? That's what makes the entrepreneurship actually. It's not about just co-founders or founders is what I believe. That too in a startup, everybody has to be, every team, every member of a team has to be an entrepreneur in his own capacity and the skills is what I believe. And I'll take one more example. I'm just going on. Let me know if you want me to stop. About the recession, right? I have a couple of very good pointers, right?
Umesh, unfortunately, we're on the last 2 minutes.
I'll close it. I'll take 1 minute, okay? The pointer is the people are saving a lot of money, you know, and we are thinking twice before even spending a penny. I believe in after 6 months or a couple of quarters, the people would be accumulating more money to spend on. In fact, that's what I can see. And the recession is definitely, I am not an economist, but definitely I believe there would not be a recession as we are anticipating. Like we have been anticipating it from last 4 or 5 years, being from US market and all other markets, right? But I think this COVID has given us a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to be lion-hearted, as Imam Sir said. It's not for the timid-hearted, definitely. I mean, like after the Lehman Brothers scam, everything crashed, basically the dot-com bubble, and now COVID, it has reset whole humanity is what I believe. Yeah. Thank you. I guess I have more time.
Lehman Brothers scam, you know, they hear it right now, it was a scam, they would die once again. We are literally on the last 1 minute. I have to let everybody go, I'm sorry. But I have to say, awesome panel, and everybody just kept showing that it's positive times, it's great times. The government part of it, I really want to pull that out again, that ease of doing business in India is still a problem. One reason why we must be lion-hearted, because our government really tests us time and again. But if that factor solves itself, Apoorv, you're getting the closing line. So last advice that you have for everybody as now we close this.
So if I'll say, Noor, Apoor here from eTechnos. So issues are always is another way to start learning and change the circumstances. So it's like that, make it in your favor. If we will talk about one of the industry, which is the Mr. Chawla's industry, event industry. So this industry is the most impacted industry. But we have taken as a challenge, and now whole industry is shifting on the virtualization. Even today we are doing event on the virtual system, and everyone is able to do this event, attend this event from the planet. So always challenges here are always the way to get the new opportunities. There are pros and cons. Government is also supporting a lot. Make in India is going like anything. Because if we will say earlier, we used to depend on the other countries to get the product in India. Now, automobile sector, they are going to manufacture in India. Mobile companies, they have a brand, big brand name. They were producing, now they are going to manufacture in India. Earlier, they were just doing the trading between the China or India. So opportunities now has become, or this arm is open in India. All entrepreneurs who wanted to do any business in India, it's a time to do it. It's a time to start it. And entrepreneurs, it's always love to take the challenge. That's why they are the entrepreneurs. And that's
why they're entrepreneurs. I think that's a good way to end this on. We really are on time. We started late, but I have to thank each and every one of you for being patient and accommodating for this. I believe I have to call Krishna in now to thank our panelists. And the next show, we've got Rajapan in the next show, babe.